of New York. Congressman, you're on the House Energy and Commerce Committee that released the bill. You've got a lot of knowledge about what's in it. We're hoping you can help answer some critically important questions. First of all, under this bill, how many people would be covered?
Well, initially, certainly everyone's going to be covered. There's really no significant changes other than the repeal of the employer mandate and individual mandate, which are immediate. The other changes come in basically January 1st of 2020. It's 2 years and 10 months from now. So getting rid of the employer mandate and the employee or the individual mandate lets people go whose hours were cut from 39 hours to 27 hours. They can go back to the 39-hour part-time job, not have to have 2 part-time jobs. You know, that's a very big thing. Also, the repeal of the fees, the taxes, and the penalties, which would take place about a year from now, January 1st of 18, would actually stimulate job creation in the economy, with that money being used by companies and individuals to buy products, goods and services, or expand their companies.
So everybody, so you're saying, Congressman, everybody who's covered now would be covered in this new, if this new legislation were to become law. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, certainly through January 1st of 2020. The exchanges are still there.
What about after 2020?
Well, come January 1st of 2020, there will be a few changes. Now, states that are currently being reimbursed at an enhanced rate for Medicaid, it could be 90% in New York or other states, they can continue to have the expansion, but it will be at their standard reimbursement rate. In the case of New York, 50%, a state like West Virginia, 73%. But I would say to those who don't like that we're cutting that reimbursement, today the blind and the disabled are reimbursed in New York at 50%. Why would we reimburse able-bodied adults?
Let me interrupt for a second, Congressman, because you know, there was a congressional budget report that came out, in 2015 on similar House legislation, which passed but never got through the Senate, never went to the president, and it said that the number of people who are uninsured would increase by 18 million in the first new plan year following enactment of that bill, very similar to this bill. And it also went on to say premiums in the non-group market for individual policies purchased through the marketplaces or directly from insurers would increase by 20% to 25%. I assume you saw that nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office study.
Yeah, but here's the big difference. That plan, or that bill we passed, eliminated the Medicaid expansion in its entirety right away. We're going to continue it as is through 2019 and allow the expansion to continue indefinitely. If a state chooses, which I'm sure a state like New York will, they'll just get the 50% reimbursement instead of 90%. And so that was a big thing. The other one is that plan did not have the refundable tax credits that we have. So you would argue that the 20 million people now that are covered by Medicaid expansion and by the exchanges and the subsidies, if you looked at what we did a couple years ago, that all disappeared.
So
in this plan, it's not that way.
Question, Congressman. So after 2020, which is not that far down the road, would more people have insurance or fewer people have insurance? What happens after 2020?
Well, we're not sure of that answer, but we're still going to have, in my opinion, Medicaid expansion in the 31 states that expanded. So that would not see any people coming off on the Medicaid rolls, and people are going to have refundable tax credits. But this is so important, Congressman.
2020 is not that far down the road. You don't know the answer. How many people would be insured after 2020? That's a question mark that you want to leave hovering over all of this?
Well, we don't know what anyone's going to do tomorrow. We're putting individual choice back in. We're eliminating the individual mandate. We're eliminating the employer mandate. But we are providing refundable tax credits for people to pick an insurance policy that works for them. We're going to be reimbursing Medicaid expansion at the standard state rate. New York 50%, a state like West Virginia at 73%. I fully expect the 31 states that took expansion will continue that. So right now there's no indication, frankly, that anyone's going to lose coverage. But 2 years and 10 months from today, we don't know what's going to happen. There could be more people insured. There could be less people insured. That's, you know, hypothesizing something that, you know, isn't something we can do, other than What we're doing today is very different than what we talked about a year and a half ago, which would have eliminated the expansion immediately across the board. That's not the case, and it did not have the refundable tax credits, which we have to help those in a certain lower income level to buy insurance.
As you heard, the president today endorsed this House leadership version. The Affordable Care Act came to be known as Obamacare. Should this legislation be called Trump Care?
No, this is actually a coordinated effort between the administration, the House, and the Senate. So this is being called the American Health Care Act, the AHA, and I think that's fair to say it's a collaborative effort by the administration, the House, and the Senate, and I do believe it's going to be passed. It's too important for the Republican Party. We cannot go into the midterm elections and not have delivered on the repeal and the replacement of Obamacare, something that we all ran on. And I hear what others are saying, but I do think that the Speaker, the Majority Leader, and our whip will get the votes. They've pledged they're going to get the votes, and we may need President Trump to weigh in, but as a member myself, I've got to expect we will get it done.